Assalamu alaikum. Sulaiman Ibrahim here. Welcome. Brothers and sisters, breaking the dumb barrier. The twin Bible question. The twin Bibles. What do we mean by twin Bibles? That's what we're going to talk about, because we have to break the dumb barrier on that. The problem is that no one is applying logic and reason to what they call religion. Whatever your religion is, that's your reality. That is your reality. Whatever you call religion, that is your reality. It's a fake reality, but that's the reality that people are living in. That's what religion is. How you view reality. That's what religion is. How you view reality. If you're Buddhist, you view reality one way. If you're Hindu, you view reality another way. If you're Baptist or Methodist, you view reality one way. If you're a Jew, you view reality another way. If you're Muslim, if you view reality another way, in a different sects, they have their different perspectives of reality. But when you break it down, that's your reality. But no one applies reason and logic to any of those realities. And we know there's only one real reality. So that means we're inundated by a lot of different realities that we know can't be right. Maybe all of them are wrong, but all of them cannot be right. Only one can be right, if at all. And reason and logic is not applied to any of them. It doesn't matter if you're Sunni, you're Hindu, you're a Jew, you're a Christian. Mathematics, reason does not apply. Yet, the actual reality that we live in, the physical reality that we live in and breathe, we live in every day, walk and talk in, right, is mathematics. Now, how do you square a circle? Everything that you see around you is mathematics. Everything. Science, chemistry, physics, biology, DNA, even you, DNA. It's all mathematics, yet still your mind that you have is not based on that. And like I said, it's like a lottery. Because you pick one of them, you don't know which one is right. There's no way you can prove any of them. You can't prove any of them. You don't know which one is right. And maybe all of them are wrong. But we know mathematics does exist, it's real, it's predictable. You can say, being it is, you can create with it. You can't create with none. Now, one of those religions can you create anything with? Can you make anything with? There's no engine that runs off a prayer, any of those religions. You can't build a building with any of those religions. You can't do anything with any of them, but just believe in them. That should tell you something, but that's not going to shake any of you. Because what needs to shake you is mathematics. You already denied that. You already denied because you say reality. You're saying your reality is not based on mathematics, even though the proof is all around you that it is. Your reality is based on mathematics. The proof is all around you. So how in the world do you ignore it? How can you say it's not the true religion, right? And yours is when you see evidence of it all around you, 100%. But you see no evidence that your religion is true. None. Absolutely none. Most of you can't even prove that your religion is true until after you die. And if you're dead, that means you can't prove anything. That's what dead means. you're not alive. I mean, there's no action, no activity there. But that's not going to move you because you've been dumbed down and you're locked into, and they get you as a child, and like Christianity in particular, they paralyze your mind with paralyzing fear that if you doubt any of this, any of it, any question, any bit of it, you're going to hell forever, never, never. You put that on a child's mind, and he'll be paralyzed the rest of his life. So we're going to talk about the predominant reality in the world today. Oh, there's other reality. I mean, you have the Chinese, right? I mean, look how many people. Well, I guess 1/3 of the population of the planet. I guess India's probably the other third. And they're not Christian, right? But their realities is not what's dominating. The reality is dominating right now, right? Is Christianity. That's reality is dominating. See? Fueled by America and Britain, primarily America. Because they're the so-called superpowers, the world power. So we're going to look at that. And we're going to come at it from several different perspectives. Because first, from the Quranic perspective, it tells you that Adam is currently ruling the world right now. Adam is currently ruling the world right now. So then you got to ask the question, who is Adam? Who is Adam that's ruling the world right now? That's what the Quran tells you. I'm going to place him ruling the earth. And who is this Adam? Well, he said his nature is to make mischief and shed blood. So that should be easy to identify who Adam is. But yet still, the Sunnis they say we are Adam. See, because Sunnis believe in a lot of the Bible too, specifically the Old Testament, and you got many people say, "Well, I don't want to have nothing to do with that what they call it, Shia law, same law in the Old Testament." It's all confusing, and it's supposed to be confusing because that's what it said. It said that they will confuse, deceive the whole world. But you conceive about that because that's chapter 20 of Revelations, aka AL-INJIL, said they would deceive the entire world. But you think that's something that's going to happen in the future, the so-called millennium. When the fact is, it already has happened. You're in it right now. The millennium happened 1,500 years ago. The Europeans went to dark ages for 1,000 years. Now the whole world just them. If you understand that, then you know who they are. I'm going to tell you who was thrown into the pit for 1,000 years. See, that they would definitely hide that one. Just ask yourself, if that chapter 20, look at chapter 20 and say, could that possibly be what happened to Dark Ages? Just take a mental process. Just to say, what if chapter 20 has already passed, and that's the 1,000 years? Because remember, at the beginning of 1,000 years, before they were thrown in, there was a resurrection, and those who was resurrected, they locked the people that was in the dark. They're the ones that locked them into the dark ages for 1,000 years. And they would be in it for 1,000 years. And after 1,000 years, they would come out and cover the whole earth. So, is there a time in history that something like that happened? Did not 1,500 years ago Islamic Empire rise up, was resurrected? Because they say it said it was a resurrection. It wasn't, it was a resurrection. So that means something that was restored. Well, if you understand, see, they won't tell you that Mecca and all that stuff was already there before Prophet Muhammad came on scene. They won't tell you that. They won't tell you that Abraham was the one that built that. That's a historical fact. But they can't tell you that because they can't associate Abraham with Islam. They can't do that because Abraham had the right religion. And that's obvious. That's something you can easily find out. Abraham built Mecca. the Kabbalah, and all of that. They can't tell you that. You can just do the research and find that out. So if you got that, that right there is a big red flag. So that means when Prophet Muhammad came along, he resurrected, he restored it back to what Abraham had done. And that happened 1,500 years ago. And 1,500 years ago, boom, the rise of Islam forced the Europeans in the Dark Age for 1,000 years. That's what chapter 20 says. After 1,000 years, right, they came out and covered the whole planet. Gog and Magog. And there's only been 2 world empires since, for the last 500 years, but only 2 world empires, only 2. Britain, the sun never sets on the British Empire, and America. So, there is right there. And they said at their end, they would go back, the holy city and everything, they would circle that, right? That's the Middle East. And they have fire come out of heaven inside of men, right? And that's what happened. That place, the dark skies, the skies over there is darker with drones that's come out with shooting hellfire missiles on top of the heads of the people, day and night. That's happening over there. And that's when they will be their destruction. That's chapter 20. Now, if you go back and do this mental little, exercise and compare that right there, you will not be deceived anymore. Because they see the whole, that's how I see it. Because they make you think it's the future. Now, historians know that is exactly what happened in the past. Exactly. So, all the confusion, so it's, like I said, it's easy to figure it out if you apply a little rationality to it. Because like I said, the Sunnis said, Adam, right? And said Adam will receive guidance, but they call them the people of the book. So they acknowledge that the Bible is Adam's guidance. Well, they don't do it directly. That's what the Quran says. Because they're the people of the book. They got the book. So that means the Bible was given to them. But they were supposed to make mischief and shed blood. That's what it was created to do. So that would be their guidance with how to be successful and making mischief and shed blood. And that's what we want to get to. Because you have 2 Bibles. A Bible within a Bible. You have the sealed Bible, which was given to Adam. And you got to understand it was given from Adam's perspective. The sealed Bible would not be sealed. It tells you both in Daniel and in Revelation, it would not be sealed to the end, unsealed to the end. So in other words, the sealed Bible is the Bible that would be the guidance for Adam until his end. And then at the end, he'd only be for a season, which is 500 to 600 years, right? And then at the end, the book would be, the Lamb would come and he would unseal the book and would bring a new reality. Because that's what the Bibles are. The Bible is, scriptures are. What they are, they're literally reality bombs. They explode and change reality. That's what they are. Because thought is pressure. Thought is pressure. Thought is force. And so that's why you're given a book. It's the Word. Word is pressure. In the beginning was the Word. Word is pressure. And that's what a bomb is. Bomb of pressure. Exploded. Like in a balloon. You pop a balloon, you get explosion. So when you have it, it's dormant. It's dormant. The words are written dormant. You have to take somebody, ignite it. It's like you have a bomb. It has to be ignited to explode. That's what Bible scripture are. They're bombs. And they have to give to a certain person, right, who's able to ignite it. So they go out and preach it, and they has to be wise enough to handle it so they don't be blown up in the explosion that they ignite. See? And the people that respond to them are not blown up with it in it also. See? Because it's going to blow away its reality, and everybody's mind who's attuned to this reality is going to be blown away too. If your mind's attuned to this reality that's right now, then you're going to be blown away when this reality is blown away. So let's go into this a little bit. The sealed Bible was written from Adam's perspective. See, the unsealed Bible was written from the original people's perspective. The same reality, but written from two different perspectives. Like you living on one side of the house and up on the other side of the house. Look at the same house, but you're looking at it from two different perspectives. So the sealed Bible is looked at from Adam's perspective. In other words, he's the main character. See? They're the beginning. Adam. See? They're Adam. The Caucasians, Europeans, they're Adam. See? Even the Sunnis buy that one to a great extent. See? But they say Adam was white. See? Even though it says Adam was made from black mud fastened into shape. See, you talk, you don't want to hear about they start getting hiccups. I mean, bring that out to them, right? But that's the perspective. So when you look at it from that perspective, they're the chosen people. But they were the chosen people for 500 years. Because Adam was smooth for 500 years, and they'd be the chosen people for 500 years. So it's written from their perspective. So from that perspective, look at from that perspective, then you start seeing why the world is like it is right now. Make a little change here. You said the world is, because you start from Adam and Eve story, that's how it all started. Remember, Adam? It all started with Adam, right? Okay. Well, we start with Adam and Eve story then. See? Adam being white. See? Then comes Eve. She's inferior. So she starts off being inferior. Then it moves on to the fact that, right? She's an add-on, afterthought. See? Then she's the one that brings sin to the world. She's beguiled by the serpent, and she tricks Adam into eating the forbidden fruit. So therefore, woman's trouble. She's problems. See? She has evil tendencies. She's a degree below the man because the man was first and he had the God. She was afterthought. So we have to watch her. See? We have to subdue her. Because she'll bring trouble if you don't watch her. You see? That's how that's why the woman is treated like she is now. It's right there in the story. I mean, if you take that story on face value, of course you watch out for her, man. She's the reason why we got all this trouble right now. Because of her. Adam was okay. He was doing his thing. And then she come along, the serpent comes along, right? And then she listens to him, and here she is in paradise, but she blows the whole deal for men, and everybody's suffering, right? Because she brought sin into the world, and everybody's suffering because of her. So when you have you're looking all skewed at the woman, right? You look cross-eyed at her and everything else, man. Look, man, watch her, man. You can't trust her, man. No. She's disobedient. See? She listens to serpents and stuff. So there you go. That's why the woman is treated in this vision, right? And this is the reality that we're in. It's right there. And then nobody's denying it. That's the story. And the Sunnis believe that story too. So-called Orthodox Muslims, they believe that story too. You see? But then, remember, everybody's white. So then the next question is, where black people come from? Uh-oh. See? How did they get here? If everybody's white, well then we got to move on to Noah. See? And after the flood, Noah got these sons and daughters. Now you got to read that carefully because he got 3 sons and 3 daughters. See? That's how I explain the races. That's how I explain it. It's all right there. And the scholars, that's how they read it. Now they can't come and tell you that directly because that's not politically correct, see? They used to teach it like that back when you was in bondage. You're still in bondage now, but when they had you in chains, in physical chains, they don't teach it now because it's not politically correct. They still think that way. They still taught that way. So in other words, Noah had these 3 sons. That explains, right, the brown race, the yellow race, and the white race. You see? So then where did the black race come from? Oh, well, Shem was one of his sons. He sinned, so he had this son. So he got cursed. His seed got cursed. Ham. See, he got cursed black. And they traced him as a tribe that went to Africa. As we know, when Noah's son that went to Africa. That's how, because remember, there wasn't nobody on the planet left but Noah and the people in the ark. So everybody come from them. So Ham, right, that tribe, that son, right, that seed, they end up going to Africa. Those are black people. And they was cursed to be black. Not only that, but cursed to be slaves. Read it. They was cursed to be slaves forever to their brothers. That's how I explain this stuff. So you ain't paying attention. That's how I explain this stuff. That's the sealed Bible version. You see? So therefore, right, they're the chosen people. See? Because Israel came from them. That was the best of them. See? So they being white. See? Different than Ham. See? There's a little subtle message about Abram. Abram was called Abram, and then Abraham. He changed the name from Abram to Abraham. That gets a little subtle. I'll touch on a little bit. Because Ham is the true seed of Abraham, the one they call him Sam. Ham, that's what true seed of Abraham, one they call him Ham. So they connected back together in the end. Because they was disconnected, Abram, then Ham. See, that's what's in the vision, the covenant. He was called Abram when he had the vision. Because he'd be cut off from his seed. His seed be foreign. So it was Abram, right? But at the end, he was called Abraham. That means he was connected back to him, Abraham, because Ham was the one that they be calling Ham is his true seed, the one that's what we call them the blacks, the slavers. But that was his true seed. See, that's a little big hint right there. Why is it called one name from Abraham? See, that's after it's connected back to his true seed again. I thought that thought a little bit out. Thought it out to you. A little snippet. A lot of hints all over the place. Like Israel. Why it's called Israel? Israel. Just change the letters around. Israel. See? Because we really are Real. They're not. That's why it's got the letters switch around. Because that's why I call it. Because they're not real. There's a little hint there. That's why I call them Israel, because they're not real. Because it's spelled wrong. It's really supposed to be spelled Israel. Israel. That's who we are, because we Israel. There's a little hint right there. But it's written from Abraham's perspective. So in other words, the people they was a chosen people. Because they were chosen for the 500 years. Adam was chosen for the first 500 years. It tells you in the Quran, it tells you in the Bible. He was given a time to rule. Now the Adam you see in the Bible, right? That's not that's the last generation of Yaakov's grafted devils. That's the last generation, the last iteration. Go read it carefully, right? That read it carefully, right? They wrote in the last part of it, but you also got in the sixth day, right? You got another one that he's not called Adam, but they think that's Adam. See, that's really the truth. Abraham that's put in the furnace of affliction for 400 years. See, but he said let's make man our likeness and our image, right? Male and female. So they came together. That's different creation. That's us. And it was given power over everything. See, that's us, but that's another story. So if you look at it from the sealed version, this is what you come up with. So therefore, right? Because if you read chapter 20 again, Gog and Magog, they go and attack the people that locked them into the pit in the first place. They're going to say, go circle the holy city. They attacked them in the first. They go and attack people. They lock them up, and that's when the end will come. That's where they are right now, and they get ready to go full-scale war in the Middle East in a few days. That's when the end will come. See. So from that perspective, then it is false Israel is Israel. See, from that perspective, if they're the chosen, that means the Arabs over there and the Shia and the Sunni and everything, right? They're terrorists. They're evil. So anything done to them is good because they're fighting against God's people. They're fighting against God's people. So they have no problem with killing the people over here, because if you read the Bible, anybody that opposes God's people, they're supposed to be killed. You're supposed to take their own children, and bang their heads against the wall, and knock their brains out. It tells you right in there. That's what you're supposed to do to people that oppose God's people. So therefore, all the stuff going over there, they're not doing anything wrong, because God told them to do that. It's right there. They was told, take the baby by his heels and dash his head against the wall, knock his brains out. The babies. And Noah's right. When Noah's flood came, he drowned everybody that wasn't in the ark. It was babies, toddlers, whatever. You got drowned. That's right there in the sealed Bible. They following that. So therefore, they don't feel they do anything wrong. When it comes to right and wrong, right? Well, who's more right than God? So when you follow his guys, you got to be right because he's God. Whatever he says, it's got to be right. So they're doing right. So they don't feel they do anything wrong over there. You say, oh man, they're abusing the Palestinians. Yeah, but the Bible tells them they're supposed to do that from the sealed Bible version. Because if they're Israel, because remember, you have a chosen people in the sealed Bible and chosen people in the unsealed Bible. The sealed Bible gives Adam as his sins as a chosen people. You see? And black people are born to be slaves. So therefore they bring us over here, ain't doing anything wrong, because that's what the Bible says. Was cursed black to be slaves forever. So they do what the Bible says supposed to do. They enslaving us. That's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Because that's what God says. It's right there in the Bible. And the sealed Bible is right there. You can read it. There's nothing wrong with that. And then come here and take this land from the heathen. There's nothing wrong with that. Kill them, exterminate them. It says it right in the Bible. Wipe them out. Wipe them out. Children, women, everything. Just wipe them out. It says it right there in the Bible. I just told you to take babies, dash heads against the wall, and knock their brains out. It's right there. Read it. So they did nothing wrong by taking this land from Indians and giving them smallpox and genocide and everything. They did nothing wrong as opposed to that, because that's right there in the sealed Bible. You see? So anybody opposing them should be destroyed. Dropping atomic bombs on the Japanese, there's nothing wrong with that. They're opposing God's people. They're opposing Adam. Do you understand? That's the sealed Bible. That's the guidance that was given to Adam to make mischief, shed blood. So Christianity, we see the evidence what Christianity has done to the world. But that's what the sealed Bible tells them to do. Wipe out all opposition. You see? And the white, they're the original people. And blacks, they're cursed. Do you understand? It's written from that perspective. And so they got people believing it from that perspective. Got our people believing it from that perspective, what's against themselves. And that perspective is what's governing the world today. That's why the world is like it is today. Oppression of women, right? Abuse and dehumanization of black people. See? Taking other people's lands. All the wars and things that's going on. Oppression of over the Middle East. Terrorism. Defining people as terrorists. So in other words, from the sealed Bible point of view, they're terrorists over there. Because they're opposing false Israel. Israel. No, that name always got me. I said, anybody can see that one? Israel. Now let's look at it from the unsealed Bible perspective. Because that seals what these things really mean. Now science tells us that the sealed Bible perspective is wrong anyway. Because Caucasians couldn't be original. There's a lot of things that tell you that that perspective is wrong. Right? But they would make mischief, shed blood, and they deceive the whole world. A lot of things. Like the whole story about Adam and Eve. I mean, if Eve was the afterthought, then what was the physiology of Adam? What kind of intimate parts did he have if there wasn't a female even existed? Was he supposed to reproduce himself, or was he just supposed to live the whole 600 years by himself? Does his physiology have to change? And then, right? And then they have this son, Cain. Then Cain goes to the land of Nod, get a wife. Well, where'd she come from? See, people can question these things. Then a serpent talking serpent. See? But you have to be dumbed down to believe that story. You see? But that's the story, that's Adam's guidance. So in other words, because he was making mischief, shed blood, confuse you, deceive you. So the truth was there. Enough truth was there, right? Because it didn't say everybody would be deceived. It said, read chapter 20, right? Everybody wouldn't be deceived. But you had to be rational to see it. Because once they got you to religion, you don't question. So therefore, because these things right here would tell you, hey, something's wrong here. Something ain't adding up. So they tell you just believe, your belief matrix. But when you get to the unsealed, right, okay, those questions pop right up, visible. They was there all the time, they was invisible, now they're visible. And then the answers come with them. And the science backs up, because no science backs up the Old Testament version, with the sealed Bible version. There's no science back it up. See? So it couldn't last for long. It would only last long enough until mathematics prevailed. That's when Suleiman would come with this unsealed, break the seals and reveal the truth of it, because that would hold up under mathematics. See? So for the sealed version, that's about Ham. Okay. When you put Abram and Ham together, you realize Ham is what they call a cursed in the sealed Bible, that they're really the true seed of Abraham. Then you flip the script, you got a whole different perspective. But from that perspective, you got a whole different reality. Because if we truly see Abraham, then Israel is not real. They're not the seed of Abraham. They're what Jesus says, Satan. See? They have the nature of Satan. It says they act according to Satan. They lie and they steal and murder. It was a murder from the beginning. That means Europeans, right? They're not the righteous. Because they're the ones that oppress the true seed of Abraham. So now they deserve to be destroyed. Because the whole thing, remember, anybody that opposes true seed of Abraham, because it said they will be judged once that covenant was finished, once that covenant was complete, our part of it, the 40 years was complete, 1619 to 2019, and then that would complete our part, and then 2020 would be to begin the first plagues that would start the process of us going home. 1619 to 2019, at 40 years, and then the process, and then 2020 would be the first plague that would start the process of our going home. The process of them letting us go. And they thought they had the plague licked, and now they're saying it's emerging even worse than it was before. I told you it's not going anywhere. It's just getting worse. It's even more nervous now than it was before. So the whole perspective changes. See, the whole orientation, the whole perspective changes totally. Because now, if they are not the true seed of Abraham, right? If they're not the righteous, then that means they've been oppressing us, raping and murdering us, so we wasn't slaves, right? We were true seed of Abraham. We wasn't born to be slaves. That means someone else was. It wasn't us. It was really them. And they are going to be enslaved. Once they bring the war here to America, the shores of America, so they're going to be taken into captivity. So they're the real Ham. That means they didn't take this land because God granted this land to them. They committed genocide, murder, rape, death. See, the whole perspective changes. All you got to do is say, false Israel is not real, and we are real. We the real Israel. See, the whole perspective changes. Remember I said it's written from two different perspectives. The sealed Bible is written from the perspective of them being the seed of Abraham, false Israel, and we being Ham, right? When actually it's the opposite. See? So, and they're going to captivity too, the ones that survive. They're about to be taken down. See? So, they're the evil. See? See, soon as you buy the sealed Bible, see, buy all of that because what? See, because they say, well, all belongs to Ishmael. He's the first son. See, they buy into a lot of stuff too. They buy the Adam. They buy a lot of Bible stories. They most of it because it's helping them too. But if we come to this unsealed Bible, then they're fake. They're the jinn. They're occupying our land. So they catch it on both sides. They catch it on both sides. See? Because if false Israel, right, then that means they're terrorists over there because they oppose false Israel. And if we true Israel, they're opposing us for the same reason, because that land belongs to us. False Israel have a false claim, we have a real claim. So they're going to oppose us even more. But it said the dragon, understand the dragon, it made war with us. It said when they was kicked out, once they was kicked out, they made war with us. You have to understand what a dragon is. But see, if you're in the seal Bible, you don't understand any of that means, because all that stuff is like mystical, invisible stuff. But the sealed Bible, unsealed Bible makes everything, all the invisible, visible. Because the sealed Bible has everything visible. You can't see the angels, the serpent, you got serpents running around here, demons, and all that stuff is invisible. God, everything is invisible. So you got this invisible world that we're subjected to. Even still this silly thing about Adam, right? Okay, the angel was told to submit to Adam. This is in the Quran. Angels submit. The angels supposed to be invisible. In fact, they say the angels are like really small things, big as almost an atom or something. They're on your shoulders and stuff, right? But yet still, they was told to submit to Adam. But yet Adam can't see him, can't talk to him, he can't hear him. So how the hell he wouldn't even know they submitted or not? And if we are Adam, then please, would you come and finish the presentation, angels? You see what I'm saying? It's so stupid. The jinn, everybody over there is invisible. Or not existing yet. Some of us still think Gog and Magog is still yet to come. And the Dajjal is still yet to come. Some of the Sunnis think that. I'm not letting the Shia off the hook because they believe in some of that stuff too. But the unsealed Bible brings it uncovers all that. So in other words, there's nothing invisible anymore. It's all visible. Exposes everybody. Exposes who the demons are, who the jinn are, who the golden calf is. Because they couldn't tell you who the golden calf is. They couldn't tell. They guess. They don't know. They can't tell who the jinn is. They can tell who Iblis is. They can't tell who they are. They say, well, you can't see them, whatever. They fast, they're quick, and all this stuff. But you can't identify them. When in fact, the Sunnis, they are the jinn. Because once everything comes visible, you see who it is. You see who the golden calf is. Sunniism is the golden calf. The Arabs are the jinn. But they don't want to hear that. We don't care if they hear it or not. See? Because everything we say is actual truth. And it's coming, is unfolding right before their eyes. Everything we say is unfolding right before their eyes. I've been talking for 30 years, and all of a sudden you see what I've been saying is taking place, is coming into focus in the Middle East. Everybody knows there's going to be a war pretty soon. Even Farrakhan saying that, blind as he is. So you got two different perspectives there. And so the Bible's perspective, they had two bites of the apple. The first one, when Prophet Jesus gave it to him 2,000 years ago, that blew away that reality, the Roman reality. Roman was the power of that in that area of the world during that time. It blew away. Blew away for about 500 years. In a 500 years run, that was Adam. Raised from the dust of the earth. Means from Europe. Because Adam represents Britain. Britain is not Europe. See? They're the dust from Europe. The riffraff, the exiles, the immigrants. See? The criminals that fled from Europe into Britain. Britain is an island nation. That's what made Adam raised up from dust of the earth. See? And then he went to the Dark Age. He would put to sleep for 1,000 years. That's when the rise of Islam under Prophet Muhammad. You see? So their first bite of the apple was 500 years. from 2,000 years ago to 1,500 years ago. They had 500-year reign. See? And then it was blew away by the Quran. Quran blew them away for 1,000 years. See? Then he had second bite. But see, that bite, see, they had their, what they call your wisdom teeth, they had that on that one. See, because they mixed a little mathematics, there's some real true reality with it. See? They wouldn't grab doing some mathematics, which is true reality, and they mix it up with it. Separates the church and state. That gave them the power. That's the animal talking about in the Quran. Say taught angels all their names. What are you talking about? You Michael, them to know their names? Talking about their DNA. They're talking chemistry, biology and stuff. That's what name they're talking about. They're talking about their regular names. Those angels knew their regular names. And that's the one they're talking about in the Quran. That's what they're talking about in the Bible too. The last generation of Adam. And then that second bite. That bite lasts 500 years too. Now it's coming to an end. Now it's been blown away again by Islam again. But this time mathematical Islam. It's blowing it away right now. We see it's crumbling. It's on its heels right now. It's back on its heels right now. It's on all the systems, all its institutions, right, are under extreme stress. Being stress tested, and they're crumbling under the stress. They got a senile man running the whole show. Because pressure force the best, that's the very best they could produce to run it. That's an indication right there. See? But that wouldn't happen until the sealed Bible, right? See, because they didn't blow away the Islamic Empire until second bite, when they mixed mathematics in with the sealed Bible, and that blew away the Islamic Empire. That's why the Islamic Empire, the Quran has no power. Let me put it this way. When you put something like, you put all that pressure under a coal over 1,000 billions of years, turn to a diamond. Once it's turned to a diamond, it doesn't feel that pressure anymore, because it rearranges itself to adjust that pressure, so it doesn't feel it anymore. So what happens is, so the pressure doesn't have any effect on it anymore, because now the structure is like, you shift something on your back. You got a heavy weight, shift it until it gets comfortable. Then you don't, once comfortable, and so it's similar to that. So what happened is that Sunni Islam, or Orthodox Islam, right? It blew away. It blew away their first bite, their first Christianity. That's Catholicism. See, that's why do you think in the lesson it said Christianity is 500 years old? Because when the prophet Jesus came in, they didn't call themselves Christian. It was Catholic Church. That was Catholicism, run by the Pope. The Christianity you're talking about today didn't start until 500 years ago under people like Martin Luther, right? Not Martin Luther King, but Martin Luther, people like that, right? Because he broke away from the church. That's why I call Protestants. They protested. So Catholicism was like the first bite of it, and that was run by the Pope. That lasted 500 years. See, and then the explosion of the Quran blew it away, so it had no power over that anymore. So that's why it was locked up for 1,000 years. See, because a greater pressure, a great revelation was given that was greater than theirs, so now it neutralized theirs. So Catholicism had no power over Orthodox Islam for 1,000 years. But then there's a second bite, which is Christianity. See, which is Catholicism mixed with mathematics. That's what this modern day Christianity is. And that blew away the Quran. And so the Quran had no power over it. It has had no power for the last 500 years. Quran has had a victory of 500 years. They don't understand. You got to understand how pressure works. Because that's all scripture is based on pressure. Beginning was the word with God. God's word is pressure. We understand, you still understand what scripture is talking about. So when they released that, you had this, because you said scientists, see, they rebelled. They start looking at science. People like Isaac Newton and Leibniz and stuff like Leibniz. I think I'm starting to say it right. And these people and Galileo, people like that, right? And they were staunch Christians, and they mixed Christianity with the mathematics and science. And that was enough, because Orthodox Islam, they weren't scientific. They started degrading into dogmatism. They was the ones, algebra and trigonometry came out of there, but they was by the time Newton them came along, they was back into superstition and belief system and everything else. You couldn't apply logic to Islam anymore. So when Newton and those guys came, Galileo, those guys came along, and Copernicus, and all those guys came along, right? And mixed Catholicism with that, called Christianity. They blew it away. They blew away Orthodox Islam. Had underneath them for 500 years. Orthodox Islam has no effect on. They fight, do everything. They're totally frustrated because they have not made a dent. Not made one dent in the Christian empire the last 500 years. And now, pure mathematical Islam is on the scene. That's what the AL-INJIL, breaking those 7 seals. And that's going to blow away this one. Totally, this reality. Just like that reality blew away the Islamic Empire reality, because that was the dominant empire of the day. And dominant empire, the dominant reality of the day. Just like before that, Catholicism was the dominant reality right in that part of the world during that time. And like before that, the Roman, right? And the Romans had scripture too. You might not believe it, they had scripture too. But now we call it mysticism and all that kind of stuff. See? So that's the difference between the Bible, Old Testament, and the sealed Bible and the unsealed Bible. See? Bombs. The Quran's a bomb, right? It blew away that first sealed Bible version, Catholicism version. See? And then the Christianity version, mathematical Catholicism, that blew away the Islamic. And now the true mathematical Islam is blowing away all of that. And you're only getting that from here. You only get that from the AL-INJIL. When those seals are broken and seals of Daniel is broken. That's what's going on, brothers. I hope you understand that. That's what's going on. So it's 2 different perspectives. So once we get the true perspective, Israel perspective, Israel, then that changes everything. That means that reveals who the devils are. They're not invisible anymore. It reveals who the demons are. They're not invisible anymore. It reveals who the jinn are. They're not invisible anymore. It reveals who the dragon is. Not invisible anymore. Who Satan is, he's not invisible anymore. Lucifer, he's not, even exposed Lucifer. He was really high and deep. Even exposed him, exposed all of it. The angels. See, because we're the one that submit to Adam. But who didn't submit to Adam? Who didn't submit to this world system? The Arabs, Sunni, Orthodox Islam. They don't have nothing to do with this reality. They don't want to have a bank system. They totally oppose it. And that's what the jinn did. I'm not going to submit to this reality. I'm not going to submit to that reality of Adam and make Mishra blessed. I'm not going to do it. They refuse. They're the only ones that refuse. All the Hindus, the Buddhists, and everybody else is submitted to this technology and the banking system and capitalism. I mean, all this stuff. Even the communists over China, they adopted capitalism and usury and all that kind of stuff. Everybody except the Arabs. Only ones that totally refuse So if you look at reality and you look at apply mathematics to apply logic and reason, and you bring everything out the invisible to the visible, they're the only ones that meet the description of the jinn. Because they refuse. But they were original people. They said they were original people. Says you made me of fire, intense hot fire. Well, if you understand it, I'm not going to the creation problem. That's where we were eventually. With fire before it became water. Where do you think water comes from? Where do you think water comes from? Water comes from fire. Oh no, well, where's oxygen? Where's hydrogen? Both are fire. You said, well, oxygen is not fire. Okay, then if you have a fire, you take all oxygen out the room, don't the fire go out? So why does it go out if it's not oxygen? Is ice water? It's just another form of water. Oxygen is just another form of fire. It's the basis of fire. When you take all oxygen out of the room, the fire goes out because that's what it feeds off of. That's what it is oxygen. And you mix oxygen and hydrogen together, you get water. That's what Iblis is trying to tell you. I'm original. But he said he wasn't made to win his own creation because he wasn't the first tribe. The tribe of Shabazz is the initial tribe. And tribe of Hindu and tribe of Levi came out of our tribes. But they're original too. That's what it's trying to tell you. But you're not interested in logic and reason. And you better not go to Sunni land with logic and reason if you want to keep your head. Because they ain't hearing it. And you're not being taught that in the churches. You might get some of it in the synagogue. You got it under Elijah Muhammad, but you sure ain't getting it in Farrakhan's mosque. Because he's a demon. That's mathematics. His father's a devil. Makes him a demon. But yet still you say you're anointed. How can that possibly be? Logic would tell you that couldn't possibly be. If his father's a devil. Otherwise you should be saying all praise be to Dr. Yakub, right? For producing you a Messiah. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. It's two different perspectives. And so from their perspective, again, right, then that's why they're holding that perspective. Because from their perspective, they're doing everything right. They God's people. And if you think God is behind you, man, you're going to be very enthusiastic. Why do you think the Jews are so powerful? Because they teach their children that they're God's chosen people. So therefore, that right there, they're going to excel because they think they got God's right behind their back. He's their tailwind. That's what Elijah Muhammad started telling you when he told you was the chosen people, you choose Abraham, that the FY excelled. Until Pharaoh can come along and say, no, you ain't going nowhere. You don't have to come and tell you not to choose Abraham. All you got to do is tell you ain't going nowhere, and that tells you right there. Because that's the whole definition of being true. See, Abraham, that we're going back to the promised land. So he tell you not going back to the promised land, you don't have to come and tell you ain't choosing Abraham. He just told you that way by indirectly. If I tell you, you can't have the keys to the car, ain't that the same thing as telling you ain't going nowhere? You can't figure it out? I have to tell you, oh, you can't go nowhere. No, you can't have the keys to the car. See? See? That's the Farrakhan. He play games with you, and you listen to it. He tell you ain't going nowhere. That means you're not seed Abraham. You're not going anywhere. You're nothing. They give you Sunniism, which you're nothing in Sunniism. I mean, when he finished putting the patch together, you're nothing. Right? And then you're sinful. And that's the reason why being punished because it's sinful. That means he's giving you the sealed Bible version. That's why I want to bring devils and NOI and all that stuff and defend America, all that kind of stuff, because he believes that he giving that because he's a demon. He believes in that version. He won't tell you that, but he believes in that version. And he's telling his sisters, he tries to show you Sunnism, but if they got control, right, then you'll be you'll be back down. He's talking about he loves you so much, you'll be right back down secondhand citizens, because that's what Sunnism is all about. He ain't gonna tell you that right now. But go over to the Middle East with your Sunnism, think you're going to be a Sunni over in the Middle East and see how you treat over there, you females. Tell me you with Farrakhan says it's going to make a difference. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. So that's what's happening. The unsealed Bible has us as the center, as the subject, as the centerpiece. The sealed Bible has them as the centerpiece. So if they're the centerpiece, right, then we're slaves. If we're centerpiece, they're the slaves. They're the evil. They're the rebellious. They're the sinful. But if they're the centerpiece, we're the sinful. We're rebellious. We deserve everything we get. You see the problem there? They can do everything they can to maintain that orientation, that version, the sealed Bible. And so, what is holding up the sealed Bible? That Israel is real and is wrong, is a lie. That's holding it up. That's all based on that. It's all based on that. Adam is white, it's all based on that. So if you destroy that base, what's based on the foundation, the whole thing comes crumbling down. And that means if they're not real, we must be. That means a new reality is coming in, and they cannot allow that to come in because that's destructive. It would destroy their first thing. Would destroy their minds, and their minds is not going to fight against that. I'm not going to. Oh no! Don't put me in that mirror. That ain't me in the mirror. Everybody told me I was beautiful. And now that mirror says, oh no, destroy that mirror, break it, destroy it, quick. Because you have somebody walking, they ugly as hell, they walk in life and never saw a mirror. Everybody tell how beautiful they are, and they believe it because they don't know how they never see themselves. Then somebody show them a mirror, oh, that can't be me, that ain't me, destroy that thing, get that thing out of my face. And that's the reaction they're going to have. Because when false Israel goes down, which can't happen if that reality they're saying is true, that means the whole revelation, the whole thing is reversed. And we're true to Abraham. And we're the original. That means white is not original. Right? It's a hybrid. It's something that came out of us. The whole thing is flipped around. And they're the evil. And so they ain't going to let that happen. So if they can't stop falseness from going down, they have to deal with the alternative. Get rid of us who is still standing. And so we must be the true seed of Abraham. That's the only way they have to get rid of us to maintain any sanity. Otherwise, they have to admit who they are, and the whole reality just crashes. I mean, they become catatonic. They can't, I mean, that's totally, like I said, this ugly person suddenly come in, I see a mirror. The reality, shocking. First, they wouldn't believe the image in there. They said, was that a picture? When he understands a mirror, once it dawns on them that's a real mirror, they don't want to see that. So that's the challenge you have. See, the old sealed Bible was given to them. The guide them. Now the time is up. Now the unsealed Bible is exposing everything. And so when we start, and so right now people are still seeing things from their perspective. So that's what this war is all about. That's about to take place. To find out whose perspective is going to prevail. If false truth prevails, then that vision is going to take hold. I mean, it's already established. It's just going to grow, and it's going to blow us totally out of here. I mean, we think we have trouble now, we're going to totally eradicate it. Right? But if that vision is taken down, the core, if they're not true Israel, that means the whole thing switches over to here. And that means that the whole reality changes overnight, instantly. Then they have to come and grip to who they really are. Because all the stuff they thought they was doing under God's will, under God's plan, right, with God at their back, found that they was really worshiping Satan. That they was doing Satan's will. See, they was really, that's what Jesus told them, they was worshiping Satan. He's God's will. When you see that, right, that Jesus not coming for them, right, coming to them, but he's not coming for them, but he's coming to get them. See? He's not coming to help them, come destroy them. That's why it says they're going to make war against God. They have no choice. But it's coming to destroy them. And have destroyed the whole object of that new vision. The foundation of us have destroyed right away, immediately. They have destroyed that immediately. Immediately. You understand, bro? And say that's what's about to happen. Hope you understand. I made it clear enough for you. See, it's one Bible, it's two different perspectives. I call it twin Bible. One Bible, two different perspectives. One Bible, two different perspectives. One perspective was given for Adam from his perspective, and then the unsealed Bible, right, is given from our perspective, true perspective. The Israel, R-E-A-L perspective. See, the other one's written from the false Israel, false, I-S-R-A-E-L perspective. See, hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.